There is a moment in every life when the mirror stops lying, when the excuses fade into silence, when the world no longer shifts to accommodate your indecision. That moment is now. The truth is this: nothing in your life will change, no matter how much you wish, want, or wait, until you change. You may have read books, listened to speeches, dreamed noble dreams, but let me ask you, have you moved? Have you transformed your thinking? Because desire is only the spark, action is the fire. The world is waiting. The question is, are you ready to wake up? There is a law that governs every achievement, every success, and every transformation you will ever experience in your life. And it begins in the mind. Before a single step is taken, before a single word is spoken, before a single door is opened or closed, the mind makes the first move. The mind is not merely an instrument, it is the master key to your destiny. It either locks you into mediocrity or unlocks doors to greatness. The everything you are right now, your bank account, your relationships, your health, your influence, is the harvest of the thoughts you have sown over time. You are, in every sense, the living product of your dominant mental patterns. Look around your life. Everything in it is a mirror, reflecting back the quality of your inner world. If you are surrounded by cows, it is because your thinking is chaotic. If your life is stagnant, it is because your thinking is stuck. You may resist this truth, but your resistance doesn't change the law. It only delays your progress. Let's make this truth painfully clear: you cannot escape your thoughts. You can try to blame the economy, your upbringing, your boss, your spouse, the government. But none of them are the architect of your future. You are. More precisely, your mind is. Your dominant thoughts are the blueprint for your results. And if you don't like the structure you've built, you must change the plans. There are no accidents in achievement. The person who rises is the person who has first risen in his or her mind. Victory is not won on the battlefield, it is won in the mind before a sword is ever drawn. The millionaire becomes rich mentally long before the money ever shows up in the account. The leader influences others because he has first conquered himself. Why is this so hard for people to grasp? Because we have been taught to think from the outside in. We are conditioned to believe that change begins when something out there improves, when circumstances shift, when luck arrives, when someone gives us a break. But the truth is brutal and beautiful at once, and nothing changes until you do. And the first place change must begin is in the mind. You must become ruthless with your thinking. You must become a master observer of your own thoughts. The average person is unaware of the 6,000 to 70,000 thoughts they have each day. They live reactively, driven by emotion, history, and habit. But the achiever, the one who truly transforms, does not allow the mind to run wild. He disciplines his thoughts like a general commands his army. He rejects the thoughts that do not serve his mission. He nurtures the thoughts that align with his highest vision. You may not be able to control what thoughts enter your mind, but you can control which ones you entertain. Thoughts are like visitors. Some come to bless you, others come to break you. But none of them stay without your permission. The thought of fear, you can let it pass. The thought of doubt, you can deny it entry. The thought of victory, you can welcome it, nourish it, repeat it, live by it. When you realize this, you awaken to your power. You are not a slave to circumstances. You are not at the mercy of your past. You are not a puppet controlled by society. You are a creator. Your thoughts shape your reality, and your mind is the tool you wield to mold it. This is not mere positive thinking. This is accurate thinking. Positive thinking believes things will be okay. Accurate thinking makes them so. You do not overcome a negative life with positive hopes. You overcome it by mastering your mental patterns, aligning them with truth, the purpose, and unwavering action. What should you do right now? You must become intentional. Begin each day with mental discipline. Feed your mind the thoughts of success, not failure. Read books that stretch your thinking. Surround yourself with voices that elevate your vision. Speak words that reflect the life you desire. Cut off mental poison, news, gossip, self-doubt, and all forms of fear. Be merciless with anything that does not uplift or strengthen your inner world. Affirm this truth every single morning. My mind is my greatest asset. I am the master of my thoughts. I think deliberately. I choose power. It's growth. I choose victory. This is not fantasy. This is preparation. This is rewiring the very system by which you operate. Understand this: the person who masters his mind masters his fate. Your mind is either your most powerful servant or your most dangerous enemy. It will build empires for you, or it will burn down everything you touch. You must decide what role it plays. Many pray for opportunities. The few prepare for them. And the ones who do are those who have already walked the path mentally. They have succeeded in the mind, rehearsed the steps, envisioned the victory, and claimed it long before it arrived. By the time the world sees their results, they are merely witnessing the echo of inner mastery. The most dangerous phrase you can ever utter is, "That's just how I am." Because the truth is, deeper truth, you are whatever you continually choose to become. You are not your past. You are not your environment. You are not your mistakes. You are the product of your mental choices. And the greatest choice you will ever make is to take back your mind, shape it, discipline it, and use it to create the life you know you are meant to live. So remember your success, your relationships, your wealth. The deeper health, everything rises or falls on the altar of your thinking. It all begins there. Your mind is the master key. And once you turn it, the deeper truth, doors that once sealed shut will swing wide open. Not because the world changed, but because you did. There is a truth that escapes most people because it demands too much responsibility. A truth so powerful, it can either set you free or leave you trapped forever, depending on how you receive it. That truth is this: your circumstances do not rule you. They obey you. They are not independent forces. They are not random strokes of fate. They are the reflection of your inner command, the echo of your dominant state of mind. You are not at the mercy of the world, though most live as if they are. They walk through life believing they are powerless, thinking that life happens to them. They blame bad luck, poor timing, other people's choices. They believe their environment is the cause of their failure, when in fact it is only the effect of their thinking. Circumstances do not create the man, they reveal him. They respond to his thoughts, mirror his beliefs, and take shape according to his inner world. What you see around you, your financial state, your relationships, your business, your habits, is nothing more than a projection of what you have accepted, believed, and permitted to grow within your mind. This may be hard to accept if your current reality is painful. If you are surrounded by hardship, you may test and say, "This isn't my fault." And perhaps it isn't, yet. But the question is not who is to blame. The question is who is in control now. And the answer is you. Right now, in this moment, you possess the authority to change the thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you carry, and the standards you live by. When you do that, your outer world must, by law, begin to shift. Understand these: the world does not bend to wishful thinking. It bends to inner command. That command is not loud. It does not beg, plead, or panic. It is steady. It is focused. It is forged through self-discipline, clarity of purpose, and mental mastery. When your thoughts are aligned with your highest intention and your actions are in harmony with your belief, the world has no choice but to follow suit. If your current conditions are not what you desire, look inward. Life is not withholding anything from you. It is reflecting something within you. Your outer reality is shaped by what you tolerate internally. Tolerate fear and you will live a life of caution. Tolerate doubt and you will settle for less. Tolerate indecision. The deeper then you will watch opportunities pass you by. But choose belief, confidence, and clarity. And the world must reorganize itself to match the standard you've declared. Deeper truth. The person who knows this truth no longer waits for things to change. They do not sit idle hoping for better days. They do not look to others to save them. They begin with themselves. They take full responsibility for what they think, what they feel, and how they act. That is the birthplace of real power. You cannot beg life to treat you better than you treat yourself. If you think poorly of yourself, you will attract poor relationships. If you operate with a scarcity mindset, you will repel wealth and opportunity. If you doubt your worth, others will reflect that doubt right back to you. People treat you according to the energy you broadcast, and that energy is determined by your thoughts. Now let us go even deeper. Have you ever noticed how two people can be placed in the same circumstance and yet produce two very different outcomes? One person will rise, the other will sink. Why? Because the circumstance is not the determining factor. The individual's response to that circumstance is. And response is a product of inner conditioning. A storm does not destroy the prepared mind. It strengthens it. A crisis does not break the disciplined man, it reveals his power. It is not the event that matters, but the meaning you assign to it, and that meaning is chosen internally. The one who understands that circumstances obey inner command does not crumble when life gets difficult. They rise above it. They recognize that every external challenge is an invitation to exercise internal power. They do not merely survive the storm. They command the winds to shift by altering their own emotional and mental climate. There is an ancient principle that says, "As within, so without." This is not poetic fantasy. It is law. You cannot plant seeds of confusion and expect a harvest of peace. You cannot sow hesitation and reap progress. The field of life does not care about your intentions. It only responds to your mental activity. So if you want to change your world, change your mind. Speak differently. Think differently. Expect differently. Act differently. And watch how reality begins to realign. Now, be warned, this truth comes with great responsibility. Because if your circumstances are indeed the result of your inner command, then your excuses are dead. You can no longer blame anyone else. Not your parents' past, not your education or lack thereof. You are the command center. And while that may terrify some, it liberates the few who are willing to accept the full weight of their power. This is your wake-up call. If you are waiting for permission to step into a better life, let this be the moment you realize. You were never waiting for life. Life was waiting for you. It has been responding all along to the orders you've sent from within. If you want more, you must command more. And that command does not begin in the marketplace or the boardroom. It begins in the still, silent spaces of your inner life. Your thoughts, your decisions, your standards. Circumstances are not stubborn. They are obedient, and they are waiting on your command. Choose your thoughts wisely. Choose your beliefs intentionally. Choose your direction boldly, because the world outside of you is already listening. The deeper question is, what are you telling it to do? Desire is the spark. It is the fire in the belly, the aching whisper in the mind that says, there is more. It is the origin of every dream, the birthplace of every vision. Without desire, nothing begins. But let us be absolutely clear, desire alone accomplishes nothing. The world is filled with people who want success, who wish for change, who crave a better life. But only a rare few ever achieve it. Why? Because desire without discipline is nothing more than delusion. Desire is a feeling, but discipline is a decision. And feelings come and go. They are soft in the face of resistance. They falter at the first sign of discomfort. But discipline is forged, it is deliberate. It is what remains when the passion has burned out, when motivation has gone cold. When no one is watching and you are left with a choice to do the work or do nothing. It is not hard to find people who want success. Walk down any street, scroll through any feed, and you'll hear voices shouting about what they want. The business they dream of starting, the body they want to build, the wealth they'd like to earn. But want is cheap. Want is universal. What is rare? What is gold? Is the person who is willing to get up early when it's inconvenient, to work in silence while others seek applause, to say no to distractions and yes to their purpose. That person understands that discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. The mistake most people make is they confuse wanting something with deserving it. They think that strong desire is enough to justify achievement. But the universe does not reward longing. It rewards labor. You may desire financial freedom, but unless you discipline your spending, your saving, your investment, and your earning habits, you will remain broke. You may desire health, but unless you discipline your body, your diet, your sleep, and your habits, you will remain weak. Desire sets the direction. Discipline gets you there. Discipline is not punishment. It is a form of self-respect. It is saying, I will not betray myself today. It is living each day with the awareness that your future self is watching. And every action you take is either a gift or a burden to that person you are becoming. Without discipline, you are a slave to your mood, your whims, your environment. With it, you become the master of your reality. This is where the separation begins. The majority will always choose comfort over commitment. They will talk about what they want, but shrink from what it costs. They will start strong, but quit early. They will choose temporary pleasure over long-term progress. They will say, I'm just not motivated, as if motivation is the fuel of achievement. But motivation is fleeting. Discipline is forever. And if you live by motivation, you will only work when you feel like it. So you will rarely work at all. The disciplined man does not ask how he feels. He asks what needs to be done. He is not a victim of circumstances. He creates them. He does not wait for a sign. He becomes one. And when desire tries to lure him into fantasy, discipline brings him back to action, the deeper truth. It is discipline that builds resilience. Every time you follow through on your commitment, even when it's difficult, even when you don't feel like it, you strengthen your identity. You become someone who can be trusted, not just by others, but by yourself. And that trust is the foundation of greatness, because you will never rise higher than your ability to keep promises to yourself. Break them enough times and your self-image erodes. Honor them and your confidence becomes unshakable. Desire is the dream, discipline is the grind. Desire imagines, discipline executes. You may envision a life of greatness, but unless you are willing to do what greatness demands, that vision will rot in the prison of your mind. The cemetery is full of people who had great ideas and deep desires but never did the work. They lacked the courage to commit to discipline. And because of that, they died with their potential untouched, their dreams unfulfilled. Ask yourself, how many times have you said, this time I'll change, only to return to the same habits? How many promises have you made to yourself about waking up earlier, the eating better, working harder, only to break them when the feeling faded? That is the deception of desire without discipline. It makes you feel like you're growing simply because you want to, but growth does not come from wanting. It comes from working. The truth is, discipline isn't always glorious. It often feels boring, repetitive, thankless. But do not mistake consistency for mediocrity. The most extraordinary lives are built on ordinary actions repeated with relentless discipline. The best in any field, the leaders, the innovators, the champions, are not the ones who felt motivated every day. They are the ones who showed up every day regardless of how they felt. That is the secret. So what must you do? You must become a disciple of discipline. You must treat it not as a burden, but as your greatest ally. You must learn to love the process, even when it's painful, because you understand that each act of discipline is a brick in the fortress of your future. You must become ruthless with your time, the intentional with your focus, and obsessive about following through. Desire may whisper what you want, but discipline declares what you are willing to pay, and the life you want will not arrive through inspiration alone. It will be delivered through sacrifice, focus, and the willingness to persist when everything inside you says quit. This is your warning, and your wake-up call. Desire without discipline is delusion. And you can spend your life dreaming of the man or woman you could be. Or you can become them through disciplined action. The choice is always yours. You are not a fixed being. You are not a finished product. You are not the final version of yourself. At this very moment, whether you know it or not, whether you intend it or not, you are becoming someone. Every thought you think, every decision you make, every habit you practice is shaping the person you are growing into. There is no neutral ground. You are never simply staying the same. You are always becoming stronger or weaker, sharper or duller, better or worse. The mistake most people make is they believe growth is something that happens only when they choose it, when they set a goal, read a book, or chase a new opportunity. But the truth is, growth is not a switch. It's a current, and that current is always moving. The question is not, am I growing? The question is, what am I growing into? You are either growing toward the person you were born to be or shrinking into someone you were never meant to become. You are either becoming more disciplined, more focused, more purposeful, or you are becoming more distracted, more passive, more reactive. Every day in 1,000 small ways, you are casting votes for the future version of yourself. Most people believe that change happens in moments of inspiration. They think becoming is something that takes place at seminars, on New Year's Day, or in a sudden breakthrough. But becoming is not a flash of insight. It is the slow, daily shaping of your character. It happens in the quiet decisions, the private disciplines, the invisible sacrifices. It happens when you choose courage over comfort, responsibility over excuses, action over delay. Who you are becoming is the result of what you repeatedly choose when no one is watching. You may tell the world who you are, but it is your habits that tell the truth. The man who claims to be ambitious but sleeps in, avoids challenge, and wastes his time is not becoming great. He is becoming hollow. The woman who says she wants transformation but tolerates fear, procrastinates daily, and avoids the hard work is not becoming powerful. She is becoming a shadow of her own potential. The harsh reality is this: if you don't intentionally shape who you're becoming, the world will shape it for you. And the world does not shape people into greatness. It shapes them into conformity, into mediocrity, into self-doubt, into a life of quiet resignation. That's why you must wake up to this truth: you are always becoming, so take control of the process. Start by deciding who you want to become, not what you want to have, but who you want to be. Do you want to be a person of courage, integrity, resilience? Then your actions must reflect those traits now. You don't become courageous by waiting for fear to disappear. You become courageous by doing the thing you fear. You don't become disciplined by wishing for it. You become disciplined by showing up when you don't feel like it. Every action you take is either pulling you toward your highest self or pushing you away from it. There is no such thing as a harmless decision. The food you eat, the conversations you entertain, the people you associate with, the way you spend your time, all of it is compounding into the person you're becoming. It may seem small today, but so does the first drop of water in a flood. Over time, that trickle becomes a tidal wave. You may not feel the transformation happening, but it is. Slowly, silently, your choices are building the architecture of your future. You are building momentum in one direction or another. Each day without purpose adds weight to regret. Each day with intention builds the foundation of legacy. Even your setbacks are shaping you, but only if you allow them to. Pain alone does not transform. Many people suffer without ever changing. But those who reflect on pain, who mine it for lessons, who use it as fuel, those people become unstoppable. Failure, when met with the right mindset, becomes a turning point. Adversity becomes training. Delay becomes preparation, but only if you decide it will. You are not becoming someone only when you win. You are becoming someone in the struggle. The process is the point. Stop waiting for the day you arrive, and recognize that every day is the becoming. Every hardship you endure with grace is sculpting you. Every temptation you resist is strengthening you. Every risk you take, every fear you face, every uncomfortable truth you embrace, they are chiseling away the lesser version of yourself to reveal the masterpiece beneath. The world wants you to forget this. It wants you distracted, entertained, addicted, passive. It wants you to live on autopilot, to drift into someone average. But not you. Not if you're awake. Not if you've heard the call. There is a version of you that is stronger, wiser, more powerful, more focused, more compassionate, more fearless. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is a blueprint. And it is built one decision at a time. You must begin to act as if that version of you is already real. Ask yourself at every crossroad, what would the best version of me do right now? And then do it. Not tomorrow. Not next week. No, because every delay is a step in the wrong direction, and every action in alignment is a step toward your highest self. This is not about perfection. You will stumble. You will fall. But that, too, is part of becoming. What matters is that you rise with more awareness, more strength, more clarity. What matters is that you do not stop. You are not who you were last year. You are not who you were yesterday. You are becoming, always becoming. So the only question that remains is, Are you becoming who you were meant to be, or who you've settled for? The answer is in your daily choices. Choose wisely. There is a moment in every person's life where they must confront a raw, unfiltered truth, not to punish, not to shame, but to awaken. And that truth is this: no one is coming. Not to rescue you, not to fix you. The deeper truth: not to build your dreams for you, not to make life easier. If you're waiting for a breakthrough to arrive from outside yourself, you're not waiting. You're avoiding. If you're waiting for someone to validate your worth, you're not hoping, you're hesitating. No one is coming. And once you understand that, everything begins to change. This realization isn't meant to discourage. It's meant to set you free. Because when you finally accept that no external force is responsible for your growth, your healing, your success, or your fulfillment, you take back all the power you've been unknowingly giving away. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You stop pointing to what others did or didn't do. And in that moment, you become the author of your own life. But make no mistake, authorship is not easy. It demands accountability. It demands discipline. It demands that you stop living like life owes you something and start living like you owe it to yourself to make the most of what you've been given. We live in a world that thrives on dependency, that teaches people to wait for the government, for a part mentor, for a lucky break. It conditions people to outsource their confidence, their direction, even their decisions. But greatness doesn't come from being saved. It comes from self-activation. It comes from saying, I don't know all the answers, but I'm willing to search. I don't feel ready, but I'm willing to start. The deeper truth: I've been hurt, but I'm willing to heal. That's the spirit that changes everything. Responsibility is a word many avoid, but there is no freedom without it. The deeper truth: because the moment you hand your life to someone else, whether through blandency or complacency, you forfeit your ability to change it. As long as you're waiting for someone to come along and push you forward, you will stay exactly where you are. Progress begins the moment you stop hoping for a savior and start showing up for yourself. There's a reason people remain stuck for years. It's not because they lack talent or intelligence. It's because they're waiting for certainty, waiting for someone to open the door for them, waiting for permission. But here's the truth: no one tells you the door isn't locked. It's waiting for you to turn the handle. You have to decide to become the person who does the work even when it's hard. The deeper truth: who gets up when they've been knocked down, who learns what they were never taught, who becomes what they were never raised to be. That's not a burden. It's a privilege. Because when you take full ownership of your life, you become untouchable. You no longer need someone to believe in you. You believe in yourself. You no longer need a hero. You become your own. This shift, from waiting to acting, from depending to deciding, is the difference between a life of regret and a life of purpose. And it doesn't require a perfect plan. It requires a decision. The decision to take the first step without knowing the whole path. The decision to bet on yourself not once, but daily. The decision to stop saying someday and start saying today. Understand this deeply: you are not a victim. Even if you've been victimized, you are not a victim. You are a creator. You are capable. The deeper truth: you are powerful beyond your current circumstances. But you must stop negotiating with your excuses. You must stop entertaining the version of you that plays small. Because the longer you wait for someone else to change your life, more you delay your own evolution. Look around at anyone who has accomplished something extraordinary. Built a business, transformed their body. They overcome adversity, created impact. They weren't handed the life they have. They built it one step, one decision, one battle at a time. And the first step for every single one of them was realizing that no one was going to do it for them. You must make peace with the silence. There will be days when no one applauds you. No one checks on you. The deeper truth: no one understands you. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing it on your own. And that's where true power is born, in the lonely hours of self-reliance. Because if you can keep showing up when no one else is watching, you are building a foundation that no setback can shake. This is not a feel-good message. It's a wake-up call. You may feel tired, uncertain, overwhelmed. Good, that means you're paying attention. But now is the time to act anyway. Because the harsh truth is that time does not wait. Life will move forward, with or without you. And if you don't step into your own potential, it will quietly pass you by. The life you want will not come knocking. It will not come wrapped in reassurance or comfort. It will only come when you decide, once and for all, that you are the one responsible, the one accountable, the one capable of building a life of purpose, direction, and legacy. No one is coming, and that's the best news you'll ever hear, because it means the outcome of your life is in your hands, not someone else's. And if that doesn't light a fire in you, nothing will. You want change. Then stop waiting. Want clarity. Start moving. Want a better life. Build it. You are not helpless. You are powerful. And the moment you stop searching for a rescue and start taking radical responsibility for your life, the transformation begins. So rise, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, not when someone tells you to now. Because this life is not a rehearsal. You get one shot. The deeper truth, or you waste it waiting or own it boldly, is entirely on you. The life you want is not free. It will not be handed to you because you want it, wish for it, or talk about it. There is a cost, and that cost is change. If you want to move from where you are to where you could be, you deepers pay in discomfort. You must pay in sacrifice. You must pay in identity. The dream requires transformation, not just in your circumstances, but in you. Because the life you want will not fit inside the habits, the mindset, and the story you are living now. You must be calm, and that means you must change. Most people say they want a better life, but what they really want is the feeling of improvement without the process of change. They want the result without the refinement. They want freedom without discipline, success without struggle, growth without letting go. But that is not how life works. The future you seek demands the death of the person you are today. That's the part most are not willing to accept. They want change to be cosmetic, surface level, a new routine, a new affirmation, a new piece of advice. But real change is not about tweaking your schedule or adjusting your goals. Real change is internal. It is fundamental. The deeper it is about questioning everything you've believed, everything you've tolerated, everything you've normalized. It is about confronting the truth that the life you have right now, your relationships, your health, your finances, your peace, is a direct reflection of who you've been. If you want different, you must become different. Change is not something you do. It's someone you decide to become. That decision will cost you. It will cost you your comfort zone. It will cost you your excuses. It will cost you the need to be liked, the need to be understood, and the safety of the familiar, the deeper truth. But what you gain in return is worth infinitely more clarity, power, freedom, alignment, and the capacity to create the life you once only imagined. The process of change will not ask for your permission. It will demand your participation. And that participation will feel like a tearing down of everything soft and false within you. Because when you commit to change, life begins to strip away the layers that no longer serve you. The lies, the ego, the habits that were never meant to follow you into your future. It will hurt. It will feel like loss. But what you are losing was never truly yours. You are trading imitation for authenticity, illusion for integrity, familiarity for freedom. Do not let the pain of the process fool you into thinking it's not working. Pain is proof of progress. It means you are disrupting old patterns. You are challenging the status quo of your own existence. You are reprogramming years, sometimes decades of conditioning. That does not happen quietly. It happens in storms. And the storms are sacred because they cleanse. They clarify. They cut through everything that once held you back. But make no mistake, change is a choice. You can experience all the discomfort in the world and still stay the same if you do not decide to rise through it. The change doesn't happen by accident. It happens by intention. You must look your old life in the face. The comfort, the habits, the mindset. And say, thank you, but I am done with you now. You must let go of your addiction to the known, because transformation only lies in the unknown. That is why so few people ever experience true change, the deeper truth. It's not because they can't, it's because they won't. They cling to the identity that has kept them safe. They repeat the same behaviors, justify the same limitations, the deeper truth, tell the same stories, and then wonder why nothing changes. They fear what they will lose more than they hunger for what they could gain. But hear this. The deeper the life you want is on the other side of who you're afraid to become. If you want a new outcome, you must embrace a new identity. You must show up each day not as the person who needs to change, but as the person who already has. You must start behaving in alignment with the life you want, even before it shows up. You must think like it, act like it, speak like it, work like it. This is not pretending. This is becoming. You do not wait for life to catch up to your vision. You become your vision until life has no choice but to meet you there. The change you resist today is the regret you carry tomorrow. And the most dangerous thing you can do is believe that you have time. You don't. Every day you delay your transformation, you compound your frustration. You bury your potential under layers of delay. You train your brain to tolerate the gap between you are and who you were meant to be. That gap grows wide. And the wider it gets, the more your soul aches. You must make the decisioning. Are you willing to pay the price of change? Are you willing to be uncomfortable, to be misunderstood, to lose things and people that were never meant for the next chapter? Are you willing to walk away from the version of you that was built for survival and step into the version of you that was born for greatness? Because if you are, then you must commit. Not casually, but completely. You must wake up each day with the fire to say, I will not die the same person I was yesterday. You must take responsibility not just for your circumstances, but for your identity. You must see every moment, every challenge, every opportunity as a chance to reaffirm I am becoming. I am transforming. I am no longer who I was, and I am not yet who I will be. But I am the one who is willing to change. That is the price of the life you want. Not luck, not timing change. And once you are willing to pay that price, the door opens, the path appears, the transformation begins. Not because something around you shifts, but because you do. So stop asking when things will change. Start becoming the person who changes them. Your future isn't waiting, it's watching. And it's asking one question: are you ready to change for it? Now you've heard the truth, not the comfortable kind, but the kind that shakes you at your core. The kind that can either break you down or build you up. And the decision is entirely yours. The deeper truth: you've learned that nothing changes until you do. Not your life, your future, not your fate. You've discovered that clarity doesn't come from the sky, but from looking directly at yourself and asking the hard questions. You've seen that excuses are clever stories fear tells you to keep you stuck. And maybe for the first time, you've admitting comfort has been your cage. You now understand that waiting is the most dangerous lie success will never tolerate. No one is coming, not to fix you. The deeper truth: not to hand you a life you haven't earned. No one is bringing the life you want wrapped in approval or certainty. You have to build it with your bare hands, from the inside out. The deeper truth: real change is the cost of greatness. And it's not optional. The person you were yesterday cannot take you where your future is calling. You will either pay the price of transformation now or suffer the cost of regret later. There is no middle ground. So what now? Now you stop lying to yourself. You stop saying, someday. You stop pretending you don't know what to do. You do know. Maybe not the entire plan, but enough to start. Enough to take one action, speak one truth. The deeper truth: make one decision that honors the person you're becoming instead of the one you've been rehearsing. Because deep down, you know this life was never meant to be average. You were not born for mediocrity, stagnation, or second-guessing your worth. You were born to lead yourself first. You were born to rise. You were born to build something no one can take from you. A mindset, a legacy, a life forged through intentional change. This is your wake-up call. And the question that echoes now is simple, piercing, and final: will you change? Because the life you want already exists. The version of you who lives it already exists. But they are separated from you by one thing: who you are willing to become. It starts today. It starts now. No more waiting. No more hoping. No more lying. The deeper action: only change, and only you.